Scene 4. The morning after. Morning crept in through floor-to-ceiling windows, pouring soft sunlight across the sleek interior of Johnny's condo. The city skyline shimmered in the distance, morning traffic barely a whisper this high up. Johnny stood at the marble kitchen island, his tie undone and his tailored shirt rolled at the sleeves. He stirred almond milk into a small pot of steel-cut oats while checking his emails on a tablet beside him. The rich scent of cinnamon and espresso filled the space. At the dining nook, 7-year-old Maya, with curls still wild from sleep, was hunched over a bowl of sliced fruit, drawing little stars in her coloring book. "Orange juice, princess?" She nodded, still focused. "Yes, please." Johnny poured from a frosted glass carafe and placed the cup beside her. "How'd you sleep?" Maya yawned. "Auntie Carrie snores like a truck." Johnny laughed softly. "She sounds like one too when she wakes up." Right on cue, Carrie appeared in the hallway, hair tied up, wrapped in Johnny's oversized hoodie and a pair of fuzzy socks. She shuffled into the kitchen like someone who had fought the couch and lost. "Yo, that pull-out bed is from the devil," Johnny smirked. "Slept fine on it last week. Bro, you're solid as a rock and don't have boobs." "True," he said, stirring the oats. "And yet you still ate all the cheesecake." Carrie rolled her eyes and grabbed the espresso Johnny had already poured for her. "I'm your sister. Be nice to me. You fed my daughter dairy and then left her to erupt like a volcano. Count your blessings." Maya giggled. A knock at the door cut the mood. Johnny raised a brow. "Who's knocking this early?" Maya perked up. "It's Uncle Benji." Johnny walked to the door and opened it. Sure enough, Benjamin stood there in dark wash jeans, a slim-fit sweater, and aviators perched on his forehead. He held a box of croissants in one hand and a USB drive in the other. "Am I early?" Maya shot from the table like lightning. "Uncle Benji!" He scooped her up with one arm and kissed her cheek. "There's my sugar dumpling." "I'm not a dumpling." "You're the cutest dumpling I ever met." Carrie waved lazily from the couch. "Morning, Ben. You bring anything edible?" "Croissants. Straight from the bakery by the junction." She lit up. "Bless you." Benjamin handed her the box, then turned to Johnny. "You free for a quick debrief?" Johnny nodded and motioned toward his office down the hall. Johnny's home office was more sleek studio than workspace. Black walnut desk, dual monitors, a wall-mounted map of the city peppered with digital pins and discrete color coding. Framed client thank you letters and minimalist artwork lined the walls. Benjamin took a seat across from Johnny, sliding the USB across the table. "All the footage from last night. Hotel cam synced with audio. Pam won't be able to spin this even if she tries." Johnny plugged it into the laptop and skimmed the files. "You already edit the copy?" "Yep. Pilar cleaned the audio and watermarked it. Frank's got all the proof he needs. His lawyer's already drawing up the paperwork." Johnny leaned back in his chair. "Good work." Benjamin eyed him. "You okay?" Johnny nodded slowly, gaze still on the screen. "She was beautiful, Ben." Benjamin's tone shifted. "So are a lot of broken things." Johnny chuckled under his breath. "Ain't that the truth?" They sat in silence for a beat, not out of awkwardness but familiarity. They were men who had seen too much to be surprised, and just enough to still care. Back in the kitchen, Carrie watched Maya with a soft smile. "She's growing up," she said. Benjamin looked over. "Fast." Carrie sipped her coffee. "Don't let Johnny turn her into another one of y'all." "You say that like it's a bad thing." "It is. She'll end up investigating her playdates and recording her babysitters." Maya looked up. "I already know Miss Cheryl is dating 2 people." Johnny walked in. "What?" Maya shrugged. "She always puts on different perfume depending on who's picking her up." Benjamin burst out laughing. "You got a prodigy." Carrie leaned back on the couch. "I'm raising a spy." Later that day, at the office. Their agency, Cobalt Risk and Recovery, sat in a discreet location in the heart of the financial district. The suite was modern and sharp, dark glass doors, concrete floors polished to a mirror shine, and accents of navy blue and brass throughout. The office blended cool professionalism with edge, just like the people who ran it. Lana, their operations lead, greeted them from behind a smoked glass desk. Her makeup was flawless, her box braids tied back in a bun, and her blazer hugged her curves like it was designed just for her. "Frank's lawyer just called. Wants to schedule a meeting to finalize payment." Johnny nodded. "Tell him we're available Tuesday and bump the standard NDA to platinum." Benjamin dropped into a leather armchair and loosened his collar. "What's on deck?" Lana glanced at her screen. "Something complicated." "How complicated?" Johnny asked. She turned the monitor. Up popped a name neither of them expected to see. Senator Gary Green. Benjamin whistled low. "That's not a client you Google in front of your kids." Johnny crossed his arms. "Let's hear it." Lana smirked. "He wants to talk in person." Scene 5. The Senator's Offer. The elevator to Senator Gary Green's private office suite rode as smooth and silent as privilege itself. Encased in brushed steel with a built-in digital concierge screen and a faint cedar scent from the ventilation, it was a quiet reminder that the world up here played by different rules. Johnny adjusted the cuff of his tailored navy suit as the floor numbers ticked upward. He had changed into something sharper than his usual work attire. A crisp French blue shirt, silk tie, gold tie bar. The kind of look that made people listen before he even spoke. The elevator doors parted on the 33rd floor, revealing a corridor lined in dark wood paneling and inlaid brass detail. Classical music drifted from hidden ceiling speakers, barely audible, like a whisper of wealth. At the far end of the hall stood a curved frosted glass door that read, G. Green Vertical Bar, Strategic Advisory Committee. A woman in a tailored beige skirt suit greeted him with a tight smile and a practiced glance. "Mr. Donnelly?" Johnny gave a nod. "Here to see the senator." "Right this way." She led him past a conference room filled with suits and closed laptops, into an executive office bathed in sunlight and confidence. Floor-to-ceiling windows overlooked the city skyline. The furniture was black leather and chrome. A decanter of whiskey sat untouched on a sideboard near a stack of legal journals. Every surface was pristine, every detail controlled. Senator Gary Green stood at the window with his back to the room. He turned, white, late 50s, silver hair clipped close. Perfect posture. His suit was conservative, but his watch was not. He extended a hand. "Mr. Donnelly, thanks for coming." Johnny shook it. "Senator, I appreciate the invitation." The senator gestured to the leather chair across from his glass desk. "Please, let's make this simple." Johnny sat, notebook resting on his knee. "I take it you're aware of our specialty." "I am," Senator Green replied, lowering himself into his chair. "You investigate fidelity and you're good at it." Johnny inclined his head. The senator continued, "I need confirmation that someone in my personal life is seeing someone else." "Your wife?" Johnny asked carefully. The senator's face tightened. "No, my wife is flawless, loyal, devoted. This is about Nancy." Johnny flipped his notebook open. "Name, age, relationship?" "Nancy Phillips, 23. She's an intern under my communications director." Johnny blinked. "That's a dangerous arrangement." "She was vetted," the senator replied quickly, "and friendly. But lately she's been avoiding me, ignoring my calls, standing me up." Johnny kept his tone neutral. "And you think she's seeing someone else?" "I know it," the senator said through clenched teeth. "I want proof, not gossip, not guesses, hard documented evidence." Johnny made a few notes. "We can do that. Do you suspect anyone specific?" "She mentioned a bar a few times, silver something." Johnny raised an eyebrow. "Silver lines?" The senator nodded. "Yes, that's it." Johnny closed his notebook. "I know it, stylish, exclusive, and very diverse." The senator didn't respond to that. "What nights does she go?" "Weekends, mostly Saturdays." Johnny nodded. "We'll start there. Do you want her approached or just observed?" "Observed," the senator said. "Quietly. I need to know what I'm dealing with before anyone else finds out." There was a pause. Then, "Discretion is non-negotiable." Johnny stood. "That's what you pay us for." Back at the Cobalt office, Johnny strode into the office just after noon. Lana looked up from her dual monitors, eyebrows lifted. "That fast?" Johnny dropped the folder on her desk. "The client is Senator Green. The target is Nancy Phillips, young intern, suspected side action." Benjamin strolled in from the glass-walled war room with an iced latte in hand and his phone pressed to his ear. He clicked it off. "Did I hear intern and scandal?" "You did," Johnny said. Lana shook her head. "You realize if this goes public, it'll blow up half the party." "Then we make sure it doesn't go public," Johnny replied. "We watch, we record, we report. That's it." Benjamin leaned in. "Who's on the job?" "You are." Benjamin blinked. "I'm flattered." "She frequents Silver Lines on Saturdays, solo or with friends. You blend in. See who she's with. If she makes contact, document everything." Benjamin raised an eyebrow. Flirt? Johnny looked him dead in the eyes. Only if you need to. Benjamin smirked. Copy that. Lana rolled her eyes. Don't get slapped again. You still owe me for that dry cleaning. Benjamin pointed at her playfully. That was entrapment and a cocktail. Later that evening, Johnny's condo. Johnny returned home just before sunset, the golden hour spilling into his living room like liquid peace. He dropped his keys into the ceramic tray by the door and loosened his tie. From the kitchen, the scent of garlic and roasted vegetables filled the air. Carrie had apparently made dinner. Maya came barreling down the hallway in a superhero cape. Daddy! He scooped her up, kissed her cheek, and spun her around. You saved the world today? Almost, she said seriously, but then Auntie Carrie made me do math. Supervillain behavior, Johnny agreed. Carrie called from the kitchen. Tell him I'm raising a genius. Johnny smiled. For now, the chaos could wait. Tomorrow, secrets would unfold. Tonight was for family. Scene 6. Chocolate Weekends. The line outside Silverline's lounge curled around the block like a serpent of silk and stilettos. Everyone looked like they belonged on a lifestyle blog. Men in tailored bomber jackets and designer sneakers, women in bodycon dresses and statement heels that dared gravity. Inside, the lounge was even more seductive. It glowed with low amber lighting that softened the sharp lines of sculpted cheekbones and made secrets feel welcome. Mahogany floors stretched across the wide open space, edged with low leather sofas and glass coffee tables trimmed in chrome. Overhead, custom chandeliers made of twisted glass refracted light like champagne bubbles. Benjamin stood near the bar, sipping a smoked mezcal old-fashioned and surveying the room with casual elegance. He wore a slate-gray blazer over a black turtleneck, slim slacks tailored to perfection, and a gold chain peeking out just beneath his collar, enough to say he had taste, not too much to say he was trying. He was a shadow with charm. His eyes flicked to his phone. No message from Johnny yet, which meant Nancy hadn't arrived. Then he saw her, Nancy Phillips. She entered like a music video, hips swaying to a beat only she could hear. She wore a plum silk dress that clung to her curves like a scandal waiting to happen. Her skin was warm-toned and radiant under the low light, her baby braids wrapped into a high-crown bun, with gold hoops that glinted every time she turned her head. Benjamin didn't need confirmation. It was her. Nancy made a slow path toward the center lounge area, greeted by two girlfriends who looked equally poised and polished. Their laughter rose above the ambient bass of Afrobeats pulsing through the speaker system. Benjamin pretended not to look. He ordered another drink and shifted closer. From his vantage, he watched every movement, who she smiled at, who she touched, who she ignored. Then came the moment. A tall man in a tailored burgundy jacket approached. He had skin the color of roasted coffee beans and a presence that couldn't be bought. He was handsome, but not flashy. Nancy's face changed when she saw him, not just joy, relief. He bent low and kissed her cheek. Her hand slipped into his as naturally as breathing. Benjamin raised an eyebrow. This ain't no fling, he muttered under his breath, adjusting his hidden camera pin. The man pulled Nancy into a booth in the VIP corner. The bouncer didn't stop them. That told Benjamin this guy had clout, or at least the right connections. He watched as they leaned in close, whispered, touched knees under the table. Nancy giggled, then rested her hand on the man's thigh like it belonged there. Benjamin captured it all, subtle angles, no flash, no heat, just truth, frozen in pixels. He slid away before they could spot him and headed for the exit. Outside, the spring night air kissed his face with cool breath as the bass faded behind him. Back in the Tesla, Benjamin synced the footage to his laptop and hit record on a voice memo. Saturday night, 10:43 p.m., Nancy Phillips arrived at Silverline's in a plum dress, greeted two female friends, met male subject, tall, dark skin, athletic build, likely mid-30s, PDA confirmed. Ongoing relationship likely. Subject not Senator Green. He tapped send. To Johnny. To Lana. Case was building fast. Meanwhile, Johnny's condo. Johnny sat on the sectional with his laptop open and jazz playing softly from the speakers, Coltrane's in a sentimental mood. Maya was asleep, tucked into her bed, and Carrie was in the kitchen making herself a late-night tea. Benjamin's video came through. Johnny clicked play. And there it was, Nancy and her mystery man, smiling, comfortable, familiar. This wasn't new. This was deep. Johnny paused the video on the shot of her hand resting gently on the man's leg. His eyes narrowed slightly, then he reopened his encrypted notes. This wasn't just cheating. This was hiding. Monday, Cobalt Risk and Recovery. The mood was surgical. Johnny sat at the round table in the war room with Lana, Benjamin, and Pilar, who wore a caramel trench coat over jeans and Doc Martens, sipping a triple-shot iced espresso like she'd built the algorithm that made it. Lana played the footage on the wide screen. They all watched in silence. "Guy's smooth," Pilar muttered. "You can tell she trusts him." Benjamin nodded. "Definitely not a side piece. She's in deep." Lana leaned back in her chair. "Think Senator Green knows?" Johnny replied, "If he did, he wouldn't be paying us." Pilar raised a brow. "You want me to run facial recognition?" Johnny nodded. "Quietly, I want his name, no leaks." Benjamin stood. "You want me to keep tailing her?" "No," Johnny said. "Let's see where this guy fits first. We don't spook her until we know what cards she's holding." Lana closed her laptop. "Discreet, tight, surgical." Johnny's voice dropped into a register that meant business. "We don't get involved." Benjamin looked up. "Too late."
If you're enjoying the experience so far, don't forget to click that like button. Drop your thoughts in the comments. Let's talk characters, plot twists and theories. Subscribe to stay updated on every new chapter. Stay tuned for the next part of our 4-part episode.